Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me, and welcome to installment number 3 of School of the Akash. In this episode, I want to talk about connecting with the guides, and I want to talk about entering and exploring past lives. First thing I want to do is say thank you for everyone who has given me positive feedback on starting this little program. It does go a long way for me, and I know what's working, what isn't, and what people want, and what people are looking to learn. But I do feel like part of my reason for incarnating and part of my objective in coming here was to help restore and help humanity remember how to use the Akashic Records. And I know that a lot of my subscribers and clients have the same objective in their reason for coming. So thank you very much, you guys, and let's get right into it. And I want to tell you about a little experience I had a few nights ago. So last December, I believe it was, I let you guys know that I was like experiencing kind of like a classroom when I was going to sleep at night. So I would lay down in my bed, would start getting floods and downloads that would come for an hour or 2 hours at a time. So then I would basically sit in my bed, getting the downloads as much as I could hold, and then I would turn over and take the notes, and then, continue that process. So that experience slowed down pretty significantly. I'm still getting my downloads during the day. I'm still able to go in and access things when I need to. But honestly, it has been a little bit quiet until last night. Last night, I laid down in my bed at 1:30 in the morning, and before I knew it, 4 hours had passed, and it had been 4 hours that I was getting downloads and receiving information. And the guides really did spill the beans like they really never have for me before, and I mean all of it. So the next video is going to be a real big one, but I kind of want to talk about the inner workings of that process because it is important for you guys to hear when we're talking about triggering remembrance and helping you guys align with the same kind of experiences, because it does go a really long way when you feel informed, when you feel like you know what's going on, when you feel like on the other side what their objective is and what they're working on. All of that stuff goes so far. And from December until now, with it being a little bit quieter for me, I was digging really deep. I was peeling back layer after layer that I had not before, and I came up with a whole lot of new questions, new grievances, just a laundry list of things that I wanted to discuss and discover and was curious about, and all of that was more than taken care of last night. So what does it feel like when you're getting the downloads? How does that whole process start? And how does it feel different than your everyday conscious feed? And I've been doing this kind of thing for a long time now, so I don't have to do as much ritual. I don't have to do as much preparation. I don't have to even open the records. I'm already melded with them. So if you're new at this or inexperienced, you might have to initiate the process, kind of quiet the little bits and pieces or subconscious elements of you that might interrupt the process. So what does it feel like? So my everyday base consciousness feed of information is kind of busy, and there's a lot of chatter. And normally it takes a lot of work, practice, dedication, focus, discipline to break that chatter. But I lay down in my bed, I've got the chatter going, and it kind of is like I'm listening to a radio station that isn't quite in alignment, or the frequencies aren't being received very clearly. So there's, one station going and then one that's kind of in the background, or we have one station going and a bunch of static on top of it, and we just kind of work with that and deal with that. But what happens when you enter the classroom, or you start or you open yourself up to getting those downloads, is that it feels like your station clears up. It seems like you're listening to the most crystal clear radio signal that you've ever heard in your life. And this is something that I'm now experiencing automatically without having to do too much to prepare for it or to even induce it. And I can hold that that portal, that opening of information for hours and hours and hours if I need to. Before, I was getting maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and then I would roll over and go to sleep. Or, I would ask, is there anything else I should know? And the answer would be no or yes, and then we'd continue or stop, and then we'd, do whatever. But what I want to bring your focus to is that the shift in the feed of consciousness happened automatically because I am opening the Akashic Records all of the time, and I'm doing it not just for the sake of the acquisition of information or the opportunity to see something that I've never seen before. What opening the Akashic Records all of this time has done for me is created that meld that we've talked about, but it also calibrated my field so when the message needs to come through or when the class begins, I'm there on time and I get everything that I showed up to acquire. So in the beginnings, you might have to meditate before you get to the records. You might have to go through long processes of communicating with your subconscious, inducing hypnosis, or depriving yourself of certain kinds of senses. But when you put in the work, when you put in the practice, it becomes automatic. And in 2023, you can align with that kind of experience pretty quickly. So something I hear in session a lot is I think I can open the Akashic Records, but I don't really try, or I've always wanted to open the Akashic Records, but I'm not sure that I know how, or I'm not sure that I belong there, or I'm worthy. Or I opened the Akashic Records once, I didn't see anything, but I kind of felt something, and I never went back. It is imperative that the old souls are opening their Akashic Records, if not for the acquisition of information, but to benefit from the energetic elements of the experience. Every time you open the Akashic Records, whether you see anything or not, whether you feel anything or not, you are cleaning the slate for yourself so that you can move forward in your reality without carrying everything that you don't need with you. So the Akashic Records is not just about seeing and feeling, it is about clearing yourself and accessing intelligent, esoteric tools that know what to do when you're in their presence, giving intention. So you might say, I don't know how to open the Akashic Records. How do I do it? Well, I want to tell you that the process of opening the Akashic Records is not set in stone, and everybody can take a different pathway into the records. It is about finding your pure intent and knowing your worth and knowing that that is a tool and a resource that was created for you as the soul having the experience, looking to make the most of it. You belong there. The Akashic Records knows you. So if you want to know how to open the Akashic Records, why don't you start with worthiness and understand that the records accepts you as you are, and all you really need to do is pass the worthiness test and hold in your awareness that I am a creator being in this now moment who has opened themselves to the powerful frequencies of the Akash. Hold that awareness, take it with you, invoke that awareness every opportunity you can, and pretty soon you're not going to have a discussion with the subconscious systems every time you're trying to do the work. It's going to be an automatic process, and your guides are going to come through clearer and clearer and clearer, because you've now cleansed your system very frequently, and you've accessed higher frequencies that are compatible with the communication. If you are living your life feeling depleted and drained, open the Akashic Records, charge your battery, get a pep talk from your guides, and move forward from that space differently than how you entered it, because you will every single time you open, engage, or think about the Akashic Records. And I did all of that hours of communication without using my third eye, without seeing anything. It was all a frequency that I tapped into, and the information was translated pretty effortlessly. Okay, so past lives are probably the most fun thing to experience when you're talking about the Akashic Records. And it does require you to kind of master that release of consciousness that we talked about last time. But I want to give you a quick idea of how it works. So you'll open the Akashic Records, and if you're lucky enough to see something, you might notice that you're looking at a void, you're looking at a dark space, you're looking at a light space. It can appear differently to everybody. So this is when people enter the Akash and they turn around and don't come back because they didn't see anything or they didn't feel anything, not knowing that they were right on the cusp of inducing that visual and having that experience. So how does it work? How do you initiate the process, and how do you hold yourself there while it's happening? So there's a movie, I think it's Iron Man 3, where he uses his thoughts to command his suit. So he can just think, and the suit will respond to him and do what he's asking it to do just because it's read his thought. Well, the Akashic Records works the same way. You have to have fully undivided attention, and you open the Akashic Records and you enter that space and you think past life. And you hold that thought in the forefront of your awareness with all of your will, which is extremely hard to do, especially if your subconscious systems are still in a position where they can kind of get the best of you. But you think past life, you do it without judgment or expectation. You allow the visual to structure itself, and you, in your immersed state, explore the visual in whatever means or manner was meant for you to do. It does very little for us to simply view a past life. If we're talking about clearing karmic imprints, if we're talking about retrieving resources or accessing things that we acquired in those timelines. Oops, sorry about that. My memory ran out. But yeah, immersion is key. And the reason it's key, and the reason it's important to plan on experiencing it that way, is because if you're simply just seeing something, very unlikely that you're going to have any understanding or any kind of grasp of what you're looking at and why. And even after you immerse yourself, or you learn how to do that, understanding where you are, what you were doing at the time, all of those details, it's pretty hard to get that stuff. But with a lot of practice and a lot of work, it is possible. But in the beginning, you might have to put the pieces of the puzzle together or piece the clues together to get an understanding of what you're looking at in the lifetime and why it's being shown to you. So you might enter a past life in the beginning, and you'll notice little things, the environment, where does it seem like it is on the planet, the clothing people are wearing, is it modernly stitched or is it kind of, hand woven? What is the architecture? What is the technology like? You might have to put some clues together like that to get an understanding of what you're doing. But pretty soon, the more you practice it, in the initial parts of it, when you're holding in your awareness, open a past life, before the visuals start, you'll get a download of information that gives you all of the information about what you're about to see. You'll know what year you were in, you'll know what your situation was then, you'll know what your strengths and weaknesses were, you'll know that you're going to witness like an achievement or a moment in time that was important. There's a lot of different ways it can go. So Immersion is the key. Not having expectations is the key, and not judging what's being shown or letting the unconscious systems belittle what's being shown. And when all things come together, you can immerse yourself to the point where you can pick and choose what kinds of energies you would like to have in your experience and where to go get them and how to do it. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, you guys. I will see you next time.